Sincerely for joining and welcome to Solidarity Speaks with the Green Olive Collective, Combatants for Peace, Center for Jewish Nonviolence, Ahvat Amim, All That's Left, and the Migrant, Immigrant, and Refugee Rights Alliance, an emergency webinar series giving people around the world a forum to hear directly from Palestinians and Israelis about the ways their communities are being impacted by the events of these last weeks, about the escalating violence they are experiencing, and about the urgent need for a permanent ceasefire, a release of all the hostages, and the end to collective punishment in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. My name is Erez Bleicher, and I'm the Communications and Membership Director of the Green Olive Collective, a binational advocacy, information, and tour guiding center committed to a democratic future and an end to the ongoing displacement of Palestinians. We provide communities around the world with insights into the apartheid policies of the occupation and the resources to engage in meaningful advocacy in solidarity with Palestinians. We're joining together today and weekly through this emergency webinar series as a global community of solidarity across borders, checkpoints, barbed wire, closed military zones, and separation walls. The occupation regime does all it can to fracture Palestinian society, isolate them from each other and from the world, and contain them in physical and imaginative cantons whose borders cannot be breached. We intend these weekly gatherings as a breach of those borders and an expression of solidarity, empathy, and common cause against the limits of the dominant discourse set by Biden and Netanyahu. Since October 7th, an environment of severe repression, intimidation, and censure has taken hold, as many of you are no doubt aware. In the Gaza Strip, a lethal military campaign has resumed following a temporary ceasefire. In Area C of the West Bank, communities face imminent expulsion from settler militias, and communities from the Gaza envelope and the families of the hostages continue to be treated with neglect and even contempt by the Israeli government. Today, we are very glad to have with us Ahmed Helou of Combatants for Peace. Welcome, Ahmed, a grassroots movement of former Palestinian and Israeli combatants working together to end the occupation through civil resistance, education, and other means of creative nonviolence. Ahmed is a second-generation refugee whose great-grandparents left Gaza for Beersheba, before being displaced to Jericho, and much of his family is in Gaza now. He is a current resident of Jericho, as we've mentioned, a former political detainee, a former parliamentary aide in the Palestinian Authority, and worked as an ambulance volunteer with the Palestine Red Crescent during the 1996 clashes in Jerusalem. Since 2013, he has been active in Combatants for Peace, promoting a future of collective dignity, freedom, and equality for all. We are honored to have you, Ahmed, here with us to speak about the events of these last weeks and about the ways the ongoing violence is impacting you, your family, and your community, or communities, as it may be. Thank you sincerely for joining. And I'll leave it to you, of course, to share much more about yourself. Maybe with that, I'll jump right into the first question and ask you to do exactly that, to tell us more about yourself. What is your name? Where are you from? And where is your family from? What kinds of community organizing do you do as a resident and justice advocate in Jericho and as part of Combatants for Peace? And what in your background and in your past informs your relationship to what is happening now, or anything else you might want to share?
Thank you, Ari, so much for bringing me here, and it's my honor to be here also and meet all these great people. Really, I start crying when I see they introduce themselves and from all the world for them solidarity. Thank you so much. That's touched my heart a lot. As Hira said, my name is Ahmed. My family, it's look like one of the biggest family in Gaza. Maybe it's the fourth or the fifth biggest family in Gaza. My grandparents moved from Gaza to Beersheba before 48, following them business. My grandparents and my parents born in Beersheba. In 48, they escaped from Beersheba to Jericho. And in 67, they escaped from Jericho to Jordan, and they come back after 1 week. I grew up with all these stories about Beersheba, about the horrible trip from Beersheba to Jericho, also about how they run away, how they run from Jericho to Jordan and come back. How many people killed from them, how many body they passed. And also with my parents' story about Beersheba, about how they grow up there, where they playing, they where their neighborhoods, schools. So that's make that place belong to me. I feel that I was living in Beersheba before. So because of that, I think to revenge for what my family face and what they saw in them life. So I grew up with this thought to how to revenge, how to be a Palestinian fighter. And when the first Intifada started, I was 15 years old. And I said, it is my time to prove. It is my time to get the revenge. And in that time, I was little bit religious guy. I went to mosque, pray 5 times in mosque, make Ramadan. So I met people in the mosque and they talk about Hamas. And I found myself working with them. So I became Hamas and start throw stones against the Israel military jeeps, make Palestinian flags, make graphics on the wall about the Intifada, like schedule or program or strikes. Yeah, to call people to enjoy to join us. Because of that, the Israel army came to my home in one night and arrested me. I stay 6 months in the Israel jail. Before I got out from the jail, Oslo, they start talking about Oslo and about the agreements. My parents visit me in a jail and they told me a little bit about about the agreement. And I start thinking about the secret of this agreement. Like one day before, we were enemy. The flag, the Palestinian flags were illegal. One day after, Palestinian and Israel became friends, and the Palestinian flags became legal. So this make me thinking about different way, about there is a way, another way to can reach to our target, to our aim as Palestinian state, to live all together in peace without losing friends, without losing lovers, without losing years in a jail or in a prison. So I start working in that. And as Eric said, when I got out from the jail, I became ambulance service because I take many courses, and one of them first aid, working with my society, and yeah, during that I take a first aid course and start working as ambulance service, and in my work also, exactly in September 1996, Netanyahu was in the government as prime minister, and he decided open tunnel under Al-Aqsa. So the violence rise up on the street, and the Palestinians start throw stones again. So as ambulance service, I went to help to give a hand in one near the settlement in Jericho. I saw a guy fell down. I ran to help him. I found he's a friend of mine. I carry him in my hand to take him to ambulance. When I give my back to the settlement, I fell down. I try to continue my work, to go up, to get up and take my friend to ambulance. But I feel that I cannot move anything from my body. And the people around me, they carry me and they start call injured. And they put me in my ambulance, on my ambulance with my friend. I got a shot, live bullet in my back. It's moved till my neck, and it's still in my neck till now. So because of that, I got 3 days in a coma, and the doctors, they thought that I will be in paralyzed. But after 30 days, I go out the hospital and I feel better. And that day, I lost 3 friends. Firas Awajni is a friend of mine who I carry him and take him to the ambulance. Fadi Atiya and Ziyad Sharif. 3 of my friends, I lost them. And I continue my life till 2004 when I get a chance to meet Israel people in workshop. In the first, when my friend asked me to participate in this workshop, I start like a fight here and pushed her out to don't talk with me about that because it's not easy. Not easy for me as I was in a jail. I was Hamas. They shot me. I'm a refugee guy. It's not easy to meet Israel, to meet my enemy. I will not agree in that. I refused just to talk in that. But as we said, she has a big mouth and she pushed me a lot. I don't want to lose her in that time. So I'm thinking with different way. The Israel Shabak will not give me permit to enter to Israel because as a Palestinian, when we need to enter to Israel, we need a special permit. So because of that, I cannot go to participate in this seminar or this workshop. So I asked her to make a permit to me. And after a few days, she bring a paper and with a smile face and said, Ahmed, you get a paper. Really, I shocked in that time, and I have to. I got 2 emotions. One of them, I became happy and the other scared. Happy because I got a chance to visit Al-Quds, to visit Jerusalem, to go to Al-Aqsa. Scared I will because I will meet my enemy. I went to this. I go to this workshop and stay 4 days. In the first day, I don't talk with anyone. I don't talk with anyone, with any Israeli. I start in the second day, the third day, till I start asking who's sitting near me, serious, are you Israeli? Serious, are you Jewish? That's why. That's because we start talking about the rights for both of us, the Palestinian rights and the Israeli rights. And in that time, this is the first time for me sit with civilian Israeli people talking about the human rights, talking about Palestinian rights, talking about two-state. Before, I met soldiers, settlers with weapons. But these people, they don't have weapons. They don't scare with me. I don't scare with them. I'm not scared with them, to them. So, who are these people? In that point, I start looking for and participate in different workshops till I get a chance to meet people from Combatants for Peace, and they invite me to talk in the Memorial Day, Alternative Memorial Day in Tel Aviv, and I make my speech. After that, I became member in Combatants till now. Yeah, this is, we can say it, short of my background and from where I am. So if you wanna remember me for questions or anything else, or let me
Well,
continue.
I'll move to the next question in a moment, but thank you. Yeah, and amazing for me to think that that was, of course, only our very first question and introduction to today's call. There's so much that's so rich to discuss and so much that's so powerful in what you shared, from being young during the time of the first Intifada to what it means to be a child detainee or a teenage detainee, to your experiences in the 90s through Oslo and continuing clashes and confrontations, um, and also about your family and the stories that you carry with you as you do this work and as you've become more and more invested in Commands for Peace and creating a mutually invested future for everyone who lives here. You mentioned to me that you can trace your family back to the time of Muhammad the other day. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have Al-Hilu family. It's belong to Al-Hashimiyin, to Prophet Muhammad. We have what we call it, the tree, family
Family.
Mabi tree. Yeah, and it's proved in Saudi Arabia and Jordan kingdom that, yeah, we belong to Al-Hussein, the son of Fatima, daughter of Muhammad.
An incredible history and an incredible legacy. Um,
Yeah.
Moving now from the past and history to the present, I'll move to the next question. But first, I want to say to everyone here with us that from this moment on, also feel free to send questions in the chat. just write question with a colon or a dash so I know to look for it. And hopefully we'll have time for a question and answer period at the end and I can integrate them into the question and answer period. But moving to the present day, Ahmed, I wanted to ask, if you would share what you've seen and experienced since the start of October in your community and personally, how is this moment affecting life in your community and the communities you're connected to? Please tell us what the conditions are now and how you and others are being impacted so we can share with people around the world.
So before that, I want to add that in Gaza, I have two sisters, and my sisters became grandmothers. My aunt and my parents-in-law, they are now living in Gaza. All my family, my sisters and them children, they moved from the middle to the south right now. And for sure, they facing a death all the time. They cannot move, they cannot do anything. My parents-in-law, they stuck in a Shifa hospital. When the Israel attacked the Shifa hospital, they were inside the Shifa. And the ceasefire, after the ceasefire, they moved from Shifa to school close it. All them houses destroyed. Now they became homeless. They became refugees also for the second time because we were refugee in 48 and now refugee from area to area. During this war, I lost more than 50 members of my relatives in Gaza, cousins and relatives. My wife, she's also lost her cousin with his wife and his son. From this 50 people, which I lost it from my relatives, most of them kids and women. They are civilians. No one armed or no one fighter. All of them civilians. And the Saturday, the 7th of October, in the morning, I was in a gym. And my friend, he opened his mobile and he started like cry. Tell him, what's happened? What's happened? What's up? What's up? He said, look, Hamas in Sderot. Hamas inside Gaza. To be honest, I said, what the fuck? What are they doing there? Why they enter? And the news start come to me. Not because of you or because of this Zoom, but really, I feel so scared. I feel so scared. And I tell him, it is a fucking adventure. Because the Israel reaction of this active will be worst against the civilian people. That means my family, one of these civilians people. So I start talk with my family and went to the TV to follow the news. Really, we became so nervous. So nervous because we got a lot, so scared, nervous and scared for what happened. As a guy, I face a lot of war in Gaza. Okay, I wasn't there, but I know what happened in 2008. I know what happened in 2014. I know what happens in 2016 and 2021. I know how many one I lost from my lovers in Gaza, from the civilian people in all these wars. And as people working a lot to warring all the governments that if we don't prove the peace between each us, we will face a day or we will face a problem or we will face something we don't believe it or we don't accept it. We work a lot as a peace actives to prove the peace between each us and to tell them, to warning the people that please believe us, just let's create it a good life, a better life, a healthy life for us, friendly life. We know the war, how much it's bad. We know that we will lose a lot of our lovers. As a guy, I'm against the violence. I'm against the violence in both sides. No need. We call a lot. Stop the bloodshed. Stop the violence. Stop for the war. In all the wars happens before. But from time to time, they bring extreme government to us. And extreme people, they don't believe in peace and don't believe in relationship with this with the Palestinian, between the Palestinian and Israelis. And now, after 60 days, 60 days, as we know, more than 40,000 tons of bombings again in Gaza. More than 16,000 one killed. And there is 7 under the rubble till now. Both of them, what they got. Netanyahu, what he got from that, and Hamas, what Hamas got from that. Who's winner? Who is the win? The one. We lost. We lost. Why that? Why happened? Why it's happened? I hope really to stop this ceasefire to stop this war as soon as possible. I cannot imagine how the leader thinking in that. Netanyahu, he entered to Gaza to bring the hostages by his army, by his weapons, to kill people. What he got? Around 70 of the hostages get them freed by talk, by negotiation, not by a fight. So there is another way to can solve this problem or this issue or this war. We can stop the war right now and go to the another to talk all together. Go to the table and be honest, be strong enough to talk, because the peace agreement need a strong government. But what I'm thinking about what's happened right now, especially from Netanyahu. He won't run away from the court. He used the war to survive by himself. More than 20,000 people, or than from them 11 or 12,000 kids, women. Now no food, no water, no place to them. What he wanna more? What else? A lot of disease. They are sick. There is no hospitals. The bodies everywhere. So he didn't think just after 10 years or 15 years, the child who saw his parents killed in front of him. When he grow up, how he will think? Guys, the war created a hit. The war created the enemy. The war created the resistance, or the fighters, let me say. The war don't bring peace. We work more than incompetence. We start in 2006 till 2023. We work a lot to prove the peace. In 2 steps, Hamas and Netanyahu broke what we done during all this war. And I wanna go out of the box a little bit. When the elections in Israel and Netanyahu come to the government, and Ben Gvir, Smotrich, the Israelis start struggle against them and go to the streets more than 35 weeks. They don't want the extreme government, and they against the extreme government. I swear. And that's what I said. Just one thing, help Netanyahu in that and stop this demonstration against him. The war. To create a war. And from beginning, really, I believe that Netanyahu will create war with Hamas or with Hezbollah. I don't sure, but I said one of them. Why? To start the rockets in Tel Aviv, and the Israeli will go to the shelters. No one will start struggle against the government. And in that, Netanyahu will stop the demonstrations against him. That's what I believe. And I said also, anyone start war or make any attack against Israel is a traitor. It's a traitor guy or a traitor movement. They helping Netanyahu a lot. They give him the prize, a gift. And that's what happened. Hamas give him a gift. It's very hard. It's very hard in both sides. As a Palestinian, we suffered a lot. Every day. As a guy, he has family in Gaza. Really, I scared to have a call phone, to get a call phone or to see in WhatsApp a bad news. And you know what? Just today, I go out home. I stuck in home 60 days. Today, I went to CFP office in Bethlehem. Before 60 days, it is the first time I go out home because really, I'm so scared to be far from home just to hear any bad news coming from Gaza. When my wife get the news about her cousin, she entered the coma 3 times because she was so scared and crying 3 times. So the situation, really, in my place, it's not easy. You know, another thing, what? You know what? Also, I decide to leave, to move from this country with all my family in Gaza. We live here in Jericho, and my sisters and them children in Gaza. We don't have any connection. So we start to looking for a place to collect us all together out of this country because we got enough pain, we got enough scare, we got enough kills from us. I'm so scared about my children. I have two sons in the university, my son and my daughter, and the university out Jericho. So they need to go daily to them university. Checkpoints, settlers everywhere. And also the news which coming from Gaza. So not because I live in Jericho that I feel relaxed or no. The same feeling. I have the same maybe. I don't want to say worse than them. No, no way, no way, no way. Because they start like wishing to die. Really. When I took with my niece and ask her what you want or what she want, she tell me just I wanna to die because it's enough. It's enough. My family in Gaza, most of them they have high education. Most of them in that they wish to die because for what they facing, what they sowing all that time, every time in them, every minute. And night there is no connection, no internet, no phone call with Gaza. A lot of scares.
Ahmed,
Yeah.
I just wanted to jump in and say firstly that, yeah, it's just impossible for us to grasp the level of the violence and the level of loss that's being experienced. When you started speaking at the very beginning, I wanted to say mabruk to you and your sisters for becoming grandparents. And I also want to say how sorry I am to hear about the immense loss. And there, I think we won't realize for a long time the extent of what we've lost in these last days. Um, and I think that in some ways, just that phrase, it's enough, is so powerful. And what else can we say to the international diplomatic community and the world community but say it's enough? We have to end this. There has to be a just and lasting peace. And you're right. I feel personally that this moment and how the dynamics are playing out, it condemns us to the same thing in 5 or 10 or 15 years. It'll continue this dynamic that has to be broken for the sake of all of our lives and all of our children. I wanted to shift the focus, if it's okay, and ask about the role of solidarity in this moment. As we were speaking, I thought many things. One of them is that the least that I and we can do is offer our solidarity and our condolences, and a solidarity and condolence and grief that's grounded in action, that's grounded in working towards a world where, and a reality where the lives of everyone are respected and their inherent precious value is respected. On the very first webinar of this series, the Solidarity Speaks series, we had someone on the call from the Gaza Strip, and he said that the occupation, and this is a quote, is a weak system. It can't defeat feelings, the sincere feelings that we have. The one positive thing about this catastrophe is that it brings true friends together, and it is true friendship and solidarity that is sustaining my hope and my ability to resist. I wanted to ask you for any thoughts about how solidarity sustains your ability to resist and imagine different futures. What do you see as the role of solidarity in this moment? What does solidarity mean now between Israelis and Palestinians in a global context? Why is it important to sustain solidarity in this moment? But also, I think sometimes there's too much pressure on people to say solidarity helps sustain hope or imagination or will. And sometimes we don't feel those things. And it's hard to feel like we are sustained by anything at all. So I just wanted to ask you that question, and I would love to hear in any direction that feels true to you to talk about solidarity or sustaining a vision for the future that's different than this horror.
In the 7th of October, when I hear about what happened in Gaza and around, I remembered a friend of me, he lived in Sderot.
Nazareth.
No, in Sderot.
Okay.
Yeah. And we work all together in another organization which called FAB, Friend Crossing Borders in Germany. His name Avner. I call him and ask him, how are you? Are you in safe place? Where are you right now? This call before I call my family in Gaza. So I start thinking of my friend in Sderot, and I call him before I call my family in Gaza. And I feel little bit relaxed when he told me that he's in the north, not in the south, north of Israel. And also start asking about my Israeli friend who's working with me in Combatants for Peace in Tel Aviv and around. To share with each other, it's very, very, to feel with each other, it's very, very important. And to know that someone thinking of you or his mind with you and he support you, it's very important and very powerful. But when you feel that you are alone and no one cares for you because maybe you are not Korean, because you are Palestinian, you are Arabic, or you are Muslim, no one around support you or stand with you, that you will feel something really bad, and you will start hate the war. It's not easy. It's not easy. As a human, as a people, as a Palestinians in the first, let me start from the first of this war. No one stand with us. No one support us. The human rights stand away. The children rights go away. The woman rights stopped. But else? But else? No one just said, stop the war. All of them, they support the war. But after that, when we start hearing and start the demonstrations and the solidarity, all the world start rise up and beginning. When we saw the demonstration in UK, in London, and we know that more than 300,000 call stop the war and asking for ceasefire. And in USA, in France, in Germany, in all the world, really, that give us a hope and start thinking about the war. This is, and there is like, we have Mahmoud Darwish, what he said, in this land or على هذه الأرض ما يستحق الحياة, that in this land have something dear to life, يستحق I forget this word.
Worth protecting, worth living for?
Yeah. What is it? What is it?
Worth protecting or living for?
Living for.
I've seen a few different translations over
Yeah,
there.
yeah, living for. In this land, have something living for it. And that's what we feel now, right now. We have people thinking about us. Not we, just the Palestinian. No, I'm talking we as a partner with the Israelis. When I talk we in combatants, in combatants for peace, that mean Palestinian and Israelis who don't want war, who believe in non-violence, who believe in build good society, to live all together as equal with all our rights.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. And inshallah with your supports, all the world. We have now in this Zoom around 120, and I guess that 120 ambassadors we have in his region to talk in our tongue about our feeling. That's what we looking for. That's what we need. As I said, we, Palestinian and Israelis, not Palestinian, just all of us, Palestinian and Israelis, victim of this war. All the Israelis, all these Palestinians, they are victims of this war. And what's happening in Gaza, really, this genocide, as we know, and it has created a hate, and no need more hate to rise up. No need of fighters in both sides. No need extremes in both sides. Ben Gvir and Smotrich, they took and they try to make a religious war in this. And they said a lot about Yajuj Majuj. I don't know what's called it in Hebrew. Yajuj Majuj. Don't you know? The ancients from them Talmud or from them don't you know? They asking to occupy all this land as Israel land or Bani Israel land. Guys, let me say if we believe in the choosing people, okay, Yaakov tribes were there when Musa came. They became Jewish. When Jesus came, some of them they became Christian and they stay here. We're talking about Abraham DNA. When God chooses the people, he didn't choose the Jewish people. He chose the DNA of Abraham. So who became a Christian, he still hold the DNA. And when Muhammad came, some of them, they became Muslims and they hold the DNA, the Abraham DNA. So when the gods choose the people to create it and settle here, this land, he chose the DNA. And we have this DNA. Not because I am Muslim and I am Arabic or I took Arabic. I don't have this DNA and who came from Ukraine or from another country. He has a right to live here and I don't have a right to live in this land. No, we have the same right to live in this land. Maybe as Ahmed, I have a right better than him because I have the Abraham DNA. But he didn't have, maybe Ben Gafir or Smotrich, they don't have this DNA, but I have it. So I have a right to live here and to create it here, to stay here because of that. Guys, okay, there it is.
Thank you. Thank you for showing us a vision forward where the loss of this moment doesn't lead to more hate and violence and revenge, but leads toward all of us having a common future and towards everyone having the same rights to live. You, Palestinians, others here having personal and collective rights to freedom, security, and justice. And thank you for being vulnerable with us. It's amazing to me that you and others join each week to speak with us and share of yourself, share of your experience in this time. It's not taken for granted. And for me personally, I want to say it shouldn't be necessary. It shouldn't be necessary that we need to go through such lengths to share the truth, the reality on the ground, how this horrible violence is directly and intimately impacting your life, the life of thousands and millions. Unfortunately, we're running out of time for today. I wanted to ask if you have a final sentence or word that you want to end with. And I thought what you said and the way you articulated everyone here being an ambassador for justice, for an end to the violence, an immediate permanent ceasefire, a release of the hostages is so powerful. And I know everyone here takes that very seriously.
Yeah. Also, I'm very thanks for you and for all of you to give me a chance to talk and to get to get my anger out in safety way, in non-violence way, to share with you my feeling and my scare.
Our pleasure. And like you said, the worst is when we feel alone and we don't have a space that we can talk and express.
Yeah. And that's also make me optimist guy. Really. With all this darkness around me, with all this the kills and the genocides and the badness happened in Gaza, I'm still have the candle, and the candle is still light through you guys. Really, you keep this light lights my life and light my way to continue and support me to continue in my path, in my direction. I know everyone as a Palestinian, his aim to make a state of Palestine. And he has a lot of different ways. What we need to prove that our way is the best and the better way in non-violence, and build a relationship in talks, in non-violence struggles. We can build good society to continue and to be strong all together. No need my children to suffer like me. Really, I like to live in this country. I love this country. I love Jericho so much. What make me what pushed me to leave it? That's because I'm trying to have a peace life, a better life to my children. To my children. I know not because they are my children, but they are some of you maybe met they met them when my daughter, she was in Combatants for Peace. There is a project we called school, Freedom School. She went there. My son also. He was with me in a speaking tour in Germany. We were in Cologne. We were in Bremen. We were in many cities in Germany. I don't want to lose them in this conflict. And I ask you, please, to help us to create it. A good life, equal, healthy, friendly, with love, and to both sides, to Israelis and Palestinians. Because what happened in the 7th of October, they make a lot of people blunt, and we need to bring them back to our path, to our direct, to our
direction is the word you used before. I think there's no better way to end this conversation than with the words you just said, and with the hope that we can all be guides for each other towards a future of justice and equality, that we can all work together to expand possibilities for a different future. I know in Combatants for Peace, you always say there is another way. So thank you for showing us that today. And I hope we can do that for each other, all of us going forward. And also, there's no better way than ending on the note of light as we head also into Christmas and Hanukkah and what is literally the darkest time of year. I hope we can all continue to do that. And with that, unfortunately, and very sadly for me, we have to close the call. But thank you again for joining. Ahmed, we're wishing all the best to you personally, to your family, everywhere, West Bank, Gaza, and anywhere else they might be. And it takes immeasurable strength and vulnerability to do what you've done and come here to share and speak with us. Endless thanks to you, and also endless thanks to everyone who has joined this and other weeks to come together to express our solidarity and hear directly from those impacted by the events of the last weeks and the escalating violence. Following our conversation today, we hope everyone here takes what you heard from Ahmed as a charge towards action in a moment in which we as an international community must do everything we can to demand an immediate ceasefire. Now is the time to write your elected officials, sign petitions, demonstrate, attend town halls, disrupt meetings, act in civil disobedience, share what you learned today from Ahmed with your peers, bear witness, and do all of us what we can to amplify the voices of Palestinian and Israeli human rights defenders. We stand with all those calling not for reprisal, but for a just and lasting peace and an end to the occupation. And we invite you to join us this coming Sunday for our next webinar of Solidarity Speaks. We will be joined by my colleague Itamar Shapira of the Green Olive Collective for an emergency briefing about the status of Masafer Yatta in Area C. He is completing his thesis about Mustafa Yatta in Haifa University and is currently participating in direct solidarity, emergency response, overnight shifts, and protective presence efforts in Mustafa Yatta. I'm sharing now in the chat the link where you can learn more both about this coming Sunday's conversation and our webinar on Wednesday with Basman Dirwawi from the Gaza Strip, who is active in We Are Not Numbers. He is a physiotherapist who has not been able to return to his home in the Al Gamal neighborhood of Gaza City since October 7th. He was attending a course in physiotherapy in Egypt with the Palestinian Ministry of Health when aggressions began, and he will speak with us about his experience these last weeks and about the ways the ongoing violence is impacting him, his family, and his community. Our thoughts are with all of you around the world, especially with you, Ahmed, and with your communities, and with all those impacted by the violence. We hope everyone here has good and peaceful days, and we send all of our love and solidarity to protesters around the world calling for de-escalation and ceasefire. We will send a recording of this along with other resources tomorrow, and we hope to see everyone soon. Much thanks, have wonderful days, and we hope everyone is well. And you, Ahmed, continue to be well as we head into a new year in 2024. May be a new moment for all of us. Have good days, everyone. And we will talk soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I pray for that also.
Ciao.
Inshallah. Ma salama.
Talk soon, everyone. Goodbye.
And yeah, bye-bye.